Oh, hello. It is me. It is DOGG, and welcome, one and all, to the Absolute Football Podcast, where we are gold. Gold. We'll always believe in your soul because you've got the power to know that you're indestructible. Always believing that we won gold. That's right. Here we are. We're here again, fresh off the Football Content Awards. Best new content creators. Look at us here. We are just the epitomes of gold winners of best content being created. What a fabulous time to be alive. What a fabulous time to be alive. And I'm not alone. I'm with the fabulous Sam. Sam, are you fabulous?
I'm so fabulous. I feel like incredible. It's been wowzers. We are gold. If I had a pair of gold pants, I would wear them twice and again on Sundays. That's how good I'm feeling.
Wear them outside of your trousers. That's how good it is.
That's how I do Mondays. That's how I do Mondays.
Just how he rolls. And Rebecca, are you feeling gold? Gold.
Yeah, definitely am. I'm a bit under the weather, but I thought might as well get back on the podcast and celebrate just how amazing it is. And we can't miss another. I've been off for a few weeks and I felt I needed to get back. I missed you all too much.
Oh, bless her. And Rebecca, one is, of course, all of the shows. You can catch her against all of the shows, and they're all award-winning shows because, as we said at the start, it was last week, Thursday. It feels like a lifetime ago and only yesterday, all at the same time. We did attend the Football Content Awards, thanks to you all of you, everybody watching, for nominating us and for loving us and for putting us forward and being part of our family. We attended the Football Content Awards at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and unlike Tottenham Hotspur, we won. We came back with a trophy that was worth something, not the Audi Cup. Yes, I am demeaning it, because what we've got is so much better, but it's because of you, all of you. Just thank you so much to everybody and everybody watching. Sam, before we move on, you're much more eloquent than me. I'm more excitable. What did it make you feel?
Incredible all over again. What an amazing night and amazing journey. I think we're all still kind of, I don't know about you, sort of coming back to normal life. It's a bit weird. You're kind of just sort of wandering around going, did that happen? As you said, it's like such a whirlwind. I think just a massive thank you, just to everybody in this community that's made this podcast just the wonderful thing that we enjoy to bring to you every week, and the fact that we have so many good people in the chat that supported and put us on that platform to allow us to, and you don't know how much I think it means to everybody. And it was an incredible night, getting the team together, as much of the team as we could get together to enjoy it and to see it. And I think, one we'll never forget and are incredibly proud of. So just my message is thank you so much.
And we miss you, but Rebecca, are you going to come next time? Next time we get a chance, are you going to be there?
Of course I will be. Of course, I'll make sure I'll try and get there. Yeah,
because we need you, because you're one. I think you're probably the one consistent across all the shows is the underscore queen, Rebecca Shaw. Well, the other consistent thing that we do have across all the shows are the fabulous people that we have in the chat all the time, like Spenny Fan Chris, already in there with all the updates. West Ham are winning. I didn't know that. I was about to check. Do we know who scored?
It was a Thomas Souček header. I turned it on just as he belted it in. Fun. It was a storming header. Yeah.
And it's got a bit of Syria as well. The Empoli and Udinese. And we've got Graham in the chat as ever. The award-winning team. Thank you, Graham. Award-winning Graham chatter. And we've got Shah, the dream team. When you're on, we're complete. But it's good. It's lovely. It is lovely to have Rebecca back. You do make us into the dream team. It's very fun. Yes, that's right. The award and Absolute Football Podcast. And Rebecca is back again. Rebecca's back. She is my friend. And it's very fun. Chris saying hello. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? They're all saying hello to each other as well. It's beautiful. Good evening, Simon. Thank you for joining us. This is Jen. Jen's going to be with us next time as well. Hello, Jen. Hope you're doing well. And look, love for each other. Dreety's here, and she's on time. Oh, I'll tell you what a time to be alive and buzzing. And look at that. Josh is bald. Who knew? I know. I catfish you. I've been catfishing you for 2 years.
I knew. Just been out there. I knew.
It's the glare I get off my lights. Otherwise, that's why I do it. It's not deliberately to make you think that I'm actually am. It's Sean as well. Good evening, Sean. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for your kind words. And look at all this. And up the Utility FC. I'm assuming Lecky must be doing something. Hopefully, they're doing something lovely. And you know what? We drew up. Do you know we did that format, Sam? Can't remember what we said we are going to have first. It's the sort of quality that we expect here at the award-winning show. No dear. What did we say we were going to do?
What did we say?
We said we've done the first bit. That's
ticked it off already without even planning it.
You know what, that's just one mind. It was a biggie. It was a biggie that we were going to look at. Manchester City 0, Tottenham Hotspur 4. The first time in 18 years. While Stuart Pearce was manager, the Man City have lost 5 consecutive games in all competitions. As Julie said, what a time to be alive. I know that's not what she was saying it in relevance to, but it works. It fits beautifully. And Samuel, how does that one make you feel?
It's word of the day again. Incredible. Another. Wow. I think last time I spoke about Spurs a couple of weeks ago was the Ipswich game, I think. And I think I described them as the sublime to the ridiculous. And against Ipswich, it was ridiculous. But against Manchester City, wow, it was sublime. Absolutely sublime. Tore them apart. Fully deserved. James Maddison, excellent. Absolutely excellent. I think the goals are brilliant. The way he kind of ran off. His runs were brilliant. That first goal was excellent, but the way he dictated the play as well, he was dropping deep and just controlling everything. And who knew all it took was us winning a trophy in their stadium to give them belief, that anything is possible. And then they go and they turn up at Manchester City and win 4 goals to 0. Just brilliant from Tottenham's side. I think Ange got it spot on. Kulusevski's I've been a big fan of this season. I think he's been excellent. And they moved him out wide from the centre and he gave them a lot of trouble. I will come on to Man City and some of their troubles in a minute. But I just think that Tottenham have the potential to do this. And I think that's where we know we jibe and it's Spursy and everybody sort of says this. But there are occasions they play some really good games of football. They play really well. And I think the frustration is why they can't do that consistently. I wouldn't back them not to go and do something silly next week. That's just how they've been. They've scored more goals than anybody else this season in the Premier League. They've got some great attacking players. Son, Maddison's now chipping in again. Brennan Johnson scored a number of goals this season. Kulusevski, as I said, Solanke's got a few in there already. Okay, they've got Timo Werner, but the rest of them all exceptional in front of goal. Even he got an assist at the weekend. So they've just been very, very good in that match. City have always had a problem with Spurs. Seems to be their bogey team, but they've got some real problems, City. That midfield is the weakest I've seen it in a long time. And I know we've touched on Rodri. We all know Rodri's out, but Kovacic was out this weekend as well. And they look so lightweight. Yeah. Gundogan's not the Gundogan we quite remember. There's people running off of him all the time. Rico Lewis is a young lad and, time will tell, but I'm not as wowed by him as I have been other young players. And I think he's quite lightweight in that kind of midfield. There's something going wrong with De Bruyne because if it takes until 3-0 up and he doesn't want to turn to him, De Bruyne, I saw today, if you watch him, he doesn't like to look at Pep. There's maybe something, and he's come out today and said, I think this is my last year. You just wonder, is that squad at the point where it's a bit like Ferguson's last squad? Do you remember when everybody, it wasn't until afterwards everybody went, well, actually, they're all at the same kind of point of their career. Kyle Walker, for example, I've seen him been burnt past about 4 times this season. I can't remember it once in previous seasons. So an incredible game for Tottenham. For Manchester City, 5 losses in a row. This is new territory for Pep. And he's now got to manage a team that aren't the best in the league at the moment. He hasn't got the best players. So let's see what he's made of.
I mean, we'll focus a little bit on Spurs, give them a little bit of love. I think I agree with you, James Maddison. Simon say in the chat, made in Coventry. I've always been a one for James Maddison. I think he's like spits and spirits, where he'll have a fabulous game and a really bad game. And it felt almost a bit like coming of age performance, because it's the first time that we've really seen him perform to that level against that caliber of team. And he performed really well. And I just hope, I don't hope in a way, because I don't want any challenges to Liverpool's run this year. But I do hope for him and for Spurs that he continues this on, because they have been. I mean, if you look through their fixtures, as you mentioned, I think the last game in the Premier League was against Ipswich, the loss against Ipswich, which I took responsibility for, because I put all the Spurs players in my fantasy football team. And then the minute I've taken them up, Brennan Johnson scored, like, cheers, mate. But then, like, I think it was the game before that, they beat Aston Villa 4-1. Game before that, they lost 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Then they beat West Ham 4-1. Then they lost 3 to Brighton. So it is sort of like one in, one out, shake it all about. And it's all about this next game for me, where they play in Fulham League, which would be a good tester for them. And Maddison can he keep that level going? But it was a good performance. I mean, Rebecca, did you enjoy seeing City getting battered by Spurs? Deserved winners, Spurs.
It was a good performance from Spurs. I think this was City's worst home defeat since 2003, which was a 5-1 loss to Arsenal, I believe. So it's like they seem to, their bogey team every however many years seems to just be in London. But no, I mean, fair play to Tottenham. City are in a rough patch, and Tottenham did capitalise on that. We know sometimes they can do, as everyone describes as the Spursy thing of, they go into it and they're like, nah, we're not going to bother. They're on a bit of a running form where it's not the greatest, let's just do whatever. But they didn't do that, and they stuck to a game plan which worked really well for them. I mean, James Maddison, as you've said, like, that was a great match for him, and I do feel as though if he can continue with the form that he put in against City, they do have a very strong player in him to be able to move forward and challenge. Anyone challenging Liverpool, for me, I'm happy. So get the digs in before the Everton ones come. No, but I mean, Brennan Johnson kept coming on as a sub and to get a goal, keep him fit, I think is a key for Tottenham. They have a very strong player in Brennan Johnson, who we know can score. He has done, and he has been in form. So keep him fit. And I feel as though they've got a very strong attacking side that can cause damage. Just please tone it down when they play us, because I think that we're like, our next 5 matches, I think we've got Spurs in there somewhere. So if they want to be injured for that one, I'm happy.
I'm trying to I can't see anything before January with you guys.
Oh,
I think they got Fulham, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Southampton. They're nice.
That's fine then. I think I must have dreamt that we're playing Spurs in like a few weeks. Get the nightmares in already.
Unless I've missed something. I think you're okay. You've got a little bit to go.
Okay. It's Liverpool and Arsenal instead, Rebecca. So it's
maybe you're thinking, they've lost their last one. Can we play? They won their last one. Can we play them next before they win their next? You've got to get them in that rhythm, in the right place.
Yeah,
and, you'll be all right there. I think Simon said about Maddison. He hopes he stays fit and performs consistently. So old Tommy Tooks can pick him. This is true. Treaty, she loves a bit of James Maddison as well. What else did I see in here? Look at this. This is mean. Not that one. Simon's saying he loves seeing the meltdown from City fans when they lose. And Benny fan, Chris, that's what fans? They're so mean. I'm not making any insinuation at all. I'm just highlighting that comment was being made. And also, we've just had pop in the chat. Claire Jeffs, the award-winning Claire Jeffs. And Russ has joined us as well. Good evening, Russ. Hope you are doing well, sir. What else we were going to say? Man City, I think it's their first home defeat in 53 games as well. So not just their worst defeat since 2000. And was it 3, you said, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Look at that recall. And the first lost 53 games. I mean, unless you said something, they do look a little bit lightweight. I mean, I'm just from a physical aspect, you've got Haaland, who's obviously a big lad, John Stones and Edison. Other than that, Savio, Silva, Foden, Lewis, Walker, they're all quite diminutive players. Do you think that sort of stature is something that can be impeding them? So because they're all very tactically astute, but perhaps physically not dominating.
I think a little bit. I mean, again, we all know how good Rodri was at kind of that ball winning and just that absolute physical beast that he was in kind of that midfield. So I think they are a little bit lightweight. They're conceding too many shots as well. So a stat at the minute is 1.2 a game, where their previous seasons it's like 0.5, 0.7, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2. So they are conceding way too many chances. Haaland missed a couple early on in that match, which you would have expected him to kind of score. And I do think there's a lot more on him this season without Alvarez there, without other people at the moment. Foden's not really kicked into gear, not really been wowed yet by Savinho. I mean, he might come good at the minute. Reminds me very much, remember they had Nolito a few years ago, that Celtic guy who sort of came in he had sort of moments and flashes who came in from La Liga, and I've not really seen enough yet to kind of convince me. Doku can be a bit like that. Grealish is trying to find himself back, and they just seem... Yeah, they're conceding too many chances. And the other thing is they didn't score, and Tottenham had a second string centre-back pairing out. Ben Davies was excellent. Ben Davies at centre-back alongside Dragusin, with Van der Ven and Romero out, and couldn't penetrate it. So that's got to be a big worry. 5 in a row is it's a lot. They're falling behind quite quickly, and they go to Anfield next week. And in the past with City, you go, okay, result, they'll turn up, they'll do something. I'm not convinced what I'm seeing that they're going to. And Liverpool have in the past been a very difficult team for City to deal with and to beat. Obviously slightly different Liverpool with Slot, but a lot of the same components are there. It could be a rough one at Anfield and not cover. And if it is a rough one,
is this my internet or is this Sam's?
It really does.
Oh, we lost you then. I needed to know. You said it's something like, has he got as far as if they lose? Did you
if
say
they lose? That's it. That's just it. If they lose, wonderful. Yeah. If they lose, no. If they lose, they're in big. Title race is becoming big trouble. Big trouble.
Yeah, indeed. I think we mentioned. I think Jen said what's happened to Haaland. I think Haaland's always been a bit like that, though. He's very spits and spots in that he'll have a good run and then he'll sort of ease off a little bit because he's that sort of striker. He's a big upfront striker, and it's all about what he's getting fed. So he needs to have the right opportunity in the right place. And he is a bit hit and miss. If you watched him in Germany as well, he's a bit hit and miss, but he's always had loads and loads of chances, isn't he? You know.
Yes, and all strikers have it. All strikers, even the best strikers, in the Premier League throughout history, have had periods where they don't score goals. It doesn't quite happen. Particularly if your team's struggling behind you, it can sort of add as well. So there's no doubt that Haaland's going to continue to smack them in eventually, but at the moment, it's not happening for him.
Graham said he's in his dream team and the curse is real. I took him out. It's one of the most liberating things I've ever done is take out my FPL because I've suddenly got all of this money available to spend on people. It's magic. I tell you, absolutely magic. And incidentally, in the chat, we have been joined by our Ant. I like that Ant. He's with us. He's enjoying. He likes the top I'm rocking. I actually was gifted this by Anthony. It's some team in a league that my son, I think is Sudan, in the Sudan, maybe somewhere like that. It's not Saudi Arabia, it's around that area. Beauty though, isn't it? But I do that. Thank you very much, Andy. Much appreciated. Bucky said it's a long time. No, see, Bex is back. I don't want to sing it to you again because people might leave if I keep singing all the time. Simon said teams have figured out how to play against City now, and Pep was to have a plan B. Graham thinks the plan B is to spend 200 million in January, which we shall see because they haven't spent really big in a little while.
They need a midfielder. Who's that guy that you were looking at? No, I wouldn't be surprised to see some Mendy or whatever, somebody like that. They need a DM.
Zubimendi, yeah. Zubimendi, the Tuch, I can't say his name now. Aurelio Tuchemini, Mummy, whatever.
Chouameni as well. Yeah, they were to get him out.
I can't remember how to say it now. He's completely gone. But Real Madrid, he's not getting in a lot, and allegedly he could be up for grabs. But I think what you mentioned Foden, I think what Grealish, brings in work rate. He's very physical, works a lot, and I think when you look at like Foden has never been a workhorse. Silva isn't really a workhorse. Rico Lewis is still young at the moment, so that sort of workhorsey nature which you need to have isn't really there. And as you said, Kyle Walker has always just been speed. For me, he's not a complete right back. He's a fast right back that can cross a ball. And maybe do you think they're missing Grealish and that work rate? And perhaps again, it's those not necessarily big names, but all the same type of players that are missing.
Maybe a bit, and I think they're like Bernardo Silva seems to be propping up at left back. There seems to be a thing that they've kind of done recently as well, is having him kind of in the wrong areas. And I think they're just becoming they look a little bit predictable, which is not like City used to be around the edge of the box. You know, you sort of pop it around, and they're just waiting for that moment to kill you. And you just don't have that kind of same sense. And you said Grealish he can beat a man, he can take a man on. But he's not trusted to start every week, and hasn't been for a little while. And there's kind of fits and starts. And Pep needs some of his players to start stepping up, because they don't have the reliance of a De Bruyne at the moment, because for whatever reason he's come back from injury and he's not starting him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start now in midweek in Champions League, possibly at the weekend. But they don't have those reliable. So some of these players that have kind of been, I wouldn't say jumping on the tailcoats of everybody else, but these players have got to be the guys now. They've got to be the ones to drag them out of this. And they're in a position where they just need a win, and they just need to settle themselves, because we all know that City can. There's no doubt that they can go on a run again. This is still a very, we're not talking about a team that we're saying is a disaster. There's a lot of things he needs to sort with it, but you can see that the potential is there that they could do it. And again, January, they might suddenly pull in a DM and the whole thing changes again. And suddenly you go, here comes the machine of City. But this season feels different. Just watching them feels different. I've never seen them this bad. They got pumped by Spurs. They got pumped by Sporting a few weeks ago. Don't know who their manager was then, but excellent character he was. Did a brilliant job on them. But it was a very good win for them. And 5 in a row. So they finalled in midweek. And would you back them to win at Anfield next week? I'm not sure a lot of people would at the moment.
It's good times, and we'll see. Does Pep have the cojones and the wherewithal to be able to sort this? So do an Alex Ferguson as he did in that last season at United and win something with, let's be fair, quite a defunct team, or is he going to have to jump into the transfer window, or can he do something and surprise us all? If you watch regularly, you know what I think. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But moving swiftly along to another humdinger. Fulham 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 4. And it was a beautiful game from Hakuna Matata. I mean, Rebecca, how did that one make you feel?
I did not expect that result heading into it. You're thinking of, Fulham have been a very difficult team to beat, especially at home. We've all seen the super sub of Wilson and what an incredible player he is turning out to be for Fulham. Don't know whether it's going to be time for them to start actually starting him rather than just bringing him on, because I do feel as though although he does have the impact from the bench and that has been really effective for Fulham, I do feel as though they might need to have that from the start now a bit, especially with the defeat to Wolves. They have been on a decent run of form at the minute. They did have a quite difficult start to the season, but they have been picking up points a bit now, and they seem to have been able to sort out their defence, which was one of the issues that they did face throughout the beginning. But, Fulham did take the lead through Alex Iwobi, which, say through gritted teeth, but fair play to him. He's doing what he has to do at Fulham, and he is a solid player for them. But Wolves were brilliant from the minute that goal went in. They responded quick, and they were just always pushing to get chances. As you said, brilliant for him. Is it Cunha? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Hakuna Matata. Cunha.
Or just start singing.
Cunha. You gotta say it. You gotta say it in a beautiful way. Don't just say it like Cunha. Now put a little lilt into it. Give it a try. lyrically. Sing it to
It's
us.
like I'm back on Thursday with Shaw's lessons on not teaching us how to speak.
No, his is accent based. Mine is like levels of maturity based.
And then second half, Wolves they came out fighting and fair play to them. I mean, as I've said, like Harry Wilson coming on second half, I think it was like the 59th minute. So they did try and get back into it with him, but it just wasn't their day for it. And it was a huge win and 3 points for Wolves.
Well, I mean, and 20 fans, Chris is saying, Fulham had one job, was to be awful, and they turned up and they beat Fulham like that. And reckons Kuna will be in the Champions League next season. What else have we got? Wolves have had 2 great wins, pulling out the relegation, so a credit to them. And Heather said yes, and Bournemouth will go in there next. That'll be certainly be interesting. And I think it's that the club have only recently come out and backed the manager, and he's certainly rewarding them. And unlike a certain Midlands club that has pulled the trigger quite abruptly, they seem to be sticking with him. And it's bearing fruit, young Samuel. Do you not believe?
Yeah, his Wolves have been on a little bit of a cheeky little run, I'd like to call it, because as Rebecca touched on there, they had a really rough start fixture-wise, and then the last 4, 2 draws, 2 wins. And I think we've been saying all season that their attack's been good, but the defence has been pretty woeful. And actually, the defence did fairly well. They didn't have their first back line out as well this weekend, but Cunha's just different. I think his answers there, like Champions League next season, 100%. I'd take Cunha in a heartbeat. I think he's a top player. He just attacking wise, he's so comfortable, so controlled. That first goal he takes it over the shoulder is just, let's be honest. If that was anybody else, they'd be absolutely drooling over that. If Messi had done that, we'd all be going, that's phenomenal. And then the second goal looked so calm, the way he sort of bent it in as well. I mean, he's on an incredible run. The last 4 games, he's got 4 goals and 3 assists. He's the 5th highest player in the league for goal involvement. And Wolves have been in the relegation zone. That's just utterly bonkers. But from Fulham's perspective, Marcus Silva's done really well this season, but they shot themselves in the foot with the substitutions, didn't they? Because at that point, it was 2-1. Anderson went off with an injury and he'd used all the subs. I think he used them all in a 12-minute spurt. So you can understand trying to get back in the game and done it, but it's cost them ultimately in the end, and they got picked off. So, but Fulham have got this kind of knack of, they scored in their first 9 of their first 12 Premier League games. They've opened the scoring, and they do get pulled back a little bit at times. If you look at the table, they've dropped off a little bit from kind of where they were now, sort of sat, 10th they're sat in. But yeah, like Rebecca, I didn't see that one coming. I thought, it would be interesting because Wolves have picked up form a little bit. So we'll see what happens next.
And they're making it quite interesting down the bottom now, lifting themselves up where they feel they belong. It's a song in there somewhere if you're old enough to get it. But yeah, it was a good performance to see. I mean, I was hoping Jimenez was going to open the scoring actually, because he's still in my fantasy league, but he didn't. And as you said, though, what a touch from Kuna for that first goal. Simon thinks Kuna will probably be at Chelsea next season. God, I hope not.
That's the one thing for Wolves is they get a player, and we've seen it in recent years. Neto, they had it with was it Nunes went to, and they managed to keep Neves for longer. And I thought Jimenez stayed there longer, but they don't. They seem to sort of. I'd be very surprised at the way he's going that Cunha will be there next season.
No, that would make me so sad though, because it's nice. I'm quite enjoying the sort of how competitive. There's like a string of 10 teams in the middle of the league, 10, 12 teams that are so competitive. It's just fabulous to watch, And I don't want people to spoil it. And
they're all good teams, as you said. With you look at Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth. I'd have in that category. Wolves can beat it at times. They've all got that kind of 1 or 2 players that you'll go, oh yeah, what a tasty morsel! What a tasty morsel he is out there, and certainly Cunha is one of those.
It is, but I mean, great performance, Wolves. Well done, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Graham said he's old enough to always get my musical references. It's nice. Oldies but goodies. I mean, another in that sort of bracket of teams that you love to see play well, that are having a very competitive season at the moment was. Sorry to say, Heather, I know you're here. Bournemouth 1, Brighton 2. What a game of football, Samuel. How did that one make you feel?
Very, very, very good for Brighton. I think they showed a few different things from them. I thought this weekend we've always sort of seen Brighton that exciting attacking football they play, but I thought defensively they had to be really strong considering that they went down to 10 men and had to back that off. But Brighton, they just won. I think we said it the other week. They just pick another player comes in and just go, oh yeah, there's and João Pedro's come in having been out for a little while. And just links in again. Nice little touches with Matoma, like he's never been there, like he's never been gone. Brilliant pass for the second goal as well. Just I love the old nonchalant when they're not looking and kind of sneak it in there. It was perfect finish, and he's doing so well. To be fair, it's Herzler, isn't it, the manager? He's doing so well. His first season Premier League, and Brighton are. Brighton have been a funny one because we all remember they kind of had the Potter era before De Zerbi came in, and were exciting us and doing great things. I think everyone forgot about them a little bit last season because of Europe. I think Europe really took it out of them. The squad wasn't ready to deal with it. They had a number of injuries, lost a lot of key players from that the season before. Solly March was out pretty much all season. Matoma had a couple of knocks. I think Evan Ferguson had a long period on the sidelines. Massive players for them. They lost Caicedo to Chelsea. They get raided. They got raided of that team as well. And now they've just come back with a different way. But I think this is probably one of their most impressive ones because they defended for half an hour against a difficult, a very good Bournemouth attack that have beaten City and Arsenal at home there this season. So I think Brighton will be that'll almost probably please them more than one of the comfortable wins at home. To show that away from home, at a side that are playing very well like Bournemouth. Very good win for Brighton. And I put João Pedro in my dream team. So thank you, João Pedro. Thank you, Mr. Pedro.
Oh, do you know what? I took him out when he got injured, and I've been struggling to bring players back in that I took out because I can't pronounce his name, the striker at Bournemouth, Evan Nielsen.
Yeah.
He's in at the moment. Let me down this weekend. But like I said, an away win with 10 men at a difficult ground, it was quite a tight, compact ground, fans on top of you, and we're playing well at the moment. I mean, Rebecca, what do you think didn't work for Bournemouth, or do you just think it was the Brighton performance?
I think it was more the Brighton performance. Bournemouth did have the chances, and they did get one. They did pull one back through David Brooks, and it was a really nice goal outside of the foot curled it in. It was a really good one, but it just wasn't enough for Bournemouth. Like, there were times they could have capitalised on their chances, but the defence of Brighton just stood strong, and it was a really strong performance. To say they did go down to 10 men, it was an interesting one, and both of Brighton's goals were really well worked. They were team goals, great passes. It was one of them. The passes didn't end up going back to a Bournemouth player. They were actually working how they should be, whereas sometimes you see it, they do a pass and it just goes in opposite directions where you want it to. So it was a very strong and positive performance from Brighton, and they have been showing that this season, and they are a really fun team to watch. So I think for Bournemouth to, I don't want this to come out as the way it might do, but it's like for Bournemouth to only get beat 2-1 off Brighton, who we know can score and play really well, to say that they've only got beat by 1, it is a really strong result for both sides, I think, because it shows that the progression that Bournemouth are going through and how strong they can be.
Yeah, I mean, and to consider when you think an away win at Bournemouth for 10 men, the level that you give that now, the sort of standing is much higher than it was sort of 3-4 seasons ago. You would have been sort of you would have expected to be winning at Bournemouth, even if you end up to 10 men. But the fact that they've sort of flipped that around now, they're a team that you wouldn't expect to be automatically beaten regardless. It shows, like you said, the levels they've gone to. And Matoma and Pedro as well. But it's great to see, and I really hope they don't get picked off and broken out. I think while we were on players being picked off, Sean was saying Chelsea can't add any more players to this 60 million, which would be good. And Marlon thinks that he wouldn't. This was in reference to Kuna wouldn't go to Chelsea because Palmer's there as a number 10, but they've got everybody else. So who knows? And they do like to go shopping at Brighton. They do like it on the coast. I think they like rocking up and going down there and doing bits. So And there was a no, where we are. Heather was correcting me. Now, this to me, I'm reading this as Eva Nielsen.
Evan
And
Nielsen, yeah.
And then she's saying Eva, unless she's saying Eva.
Eva.
Could be Eva.
Ever.
Could be Eva. Or
Eva or ever.
whoa, Eva forever. But Simon said he likes the way that Brighton have an idea who their next manager will be before the current one leaves, rather than sacking one and still not having a replacement nearly 2 weeks later. I've got no idea what he's referencing there. That's all I'm sure. But where you mentioned earlier, they seem to just pick up, their managers come in and he's done well. The Zerbi did well, and they seem to have quite an idea and a progression of what they're doing, and it's just being run really well, aren't they?
Superbly well. It's been seamless between, normally you see the manager see a massive change in terms of what a club is, and you haven't really with Brighton. And we know that they've got that tremendous recruitment model behind them and continue to pick players up. I know he got sent off at the weekend, so not the greatest week maybe to put a finger, but Belieber, at 19, another one, centre midfield they've picked up. João Pedro was a smart little bit of business, I think. It was a free transfer, I think. I might be wrong with that, but I thought, and they picked him up last season. That was really, really clever bit of business. But then they do it with the kind of experience around him. You remember before they had people like Alan Lallana and that, and now they've got Danny Welbeck, doing the bits in there. Super Danny Welbeck.
And Millie. Get Millie.
And of course.
Still, Millie. I'm sure he's still littering around there somewhere.
He's going to be there forever. He's going to be there forever. I think by the time that Rebecca retires in a long, long year's time to come, James Milner will still be playing for somebody in the Premier League, no doubt about it.
We'll be on the podcast in however many years, and we'll still be I'll be going, yep, James Milner's still playing.
I remember seeing him play at 39. But yeah, on Bournemouth, I thought I think they'll be a little bit disappointed because the previous games before, they've now lost 2 in a row to Brentford and Brighton, having taken 7 points off of Arsenal, Villa and City. I think because of the way they're playing and that kind of process, I think the fans are happy and right that they should be. But I think they're disappointed maybe that they couldn't have taken something out of those 2 games, because they've dropped down to 13th, which isn't really a fair, true representation of how good they've been this season, I think. And say games to come that may give them more points, but they almost nicked a points, weren't they? Semenyo hit the bar with the last kick of the game, which might have changed things slightly. But yeah, as Heather said there, it didn't have Christie, and you need to have that mixed balance between your guile and your fire as well as your creative players. So yeah, interesting to yes, and Semenyo is missing against Wolves. That's correct, Heather. He's got a nasty little red exclamation mark on my fantasy Premier League, so he's not next week. I'm still leaving him in because I had to change a striker, but I did see that, and as she mentioned, several players on 4 yellows now, so it's unnerving times. If you suddenly, can you imagine in one game three of those players all get yellows? You're going to tell them to behave. They need to do it. A nightmare.
Roller needs Andy Oli Roller. He needs to have a word with them and be like, you can have your yellow card this week. You can do your yellow next week, and then we'll play. You could do your. They need to stagger it out a little bit. Like, who is a player? A bit like Neymar does. He does that. There's another player who did that a couple of years ago, wasn't it? It was like the strategic yellow card.
It did, isn't it? One's like, I remember, wasn't there a game and they were almost like tagging each other after one of them got a booking? Well, I'm done. You next time. You've got to suffer next time.
I think there was like a Champions League game or something, and somebody took a yellow so they could miss a leg that was already guaranteed. That's what you need to do, Heath. Pop down to the training ground, Heath. Have a word, and just say, just rotor it out. Schedule, as Charlotte said to me on Thursday. Schedule. Schedules
are the way forward.
That's it. That's what it's all about. And speaking of thinking, over to Leicester. I mean, I wasn't going to talk about the Leicester game too much because I didn't think that, losing 2-1 to Chelsea, it is, it's going to happen. They're not really in a relegation scrap. It's tight down there, but they've been keeping their head above water. But sacking old Stevie boy. What's going on there, Samuel? What do you think?
It's all over. Pooper, scooper, Cooper. It's all done. Yeah, it's as you said, sort of because he's not been in the job that long, I suppose. Oh, West Ham have just gone 2-0 up. Well, hello, 2-0 at Newcastle. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, behave yourself. What are you doing there? Sorry, distracted. Steve Cooper. When you look at the stats, so he's only won 3 out of 15 games, and I know it's early doors, and there's always been a connection problem with Cooper and the fans, I think, with the Forest links, and it's never quite looked like a kind of romance going on there. But the reality is where they are in the league is where you would expect them to be in the league. Like, I don't know where do they think Leicester are going to realistically be? Because they're not. You look at the teams above them, and I'm sorry, but they're not better than them. They're not better than them. You look at the players they've got; they're not better than them. You look at the managers that you've got, and okay, I thought that Steve Cooper's a good manager, but there's some very, very good managers in the Premier League now, and you're like, well, maybe they've looked at that and said, perhaps we got it wrong in the summer. Now's the time to change before we drop off. But there we go. It's a very strange one. I mean, the signings that they made were a bit. Oliver Skip from Tottenham for 20 million. Yeah. Some centre back from Atalanta barely played. A winger, that Canoes barely played. They've not really done anything with their transfers. And yeah, they're 16th. So that's the shocker. That's the shocker. You know, we've just been waxing lyrical about Wolves unless they've got one more point.
Yeah.
It's just swings and roundabouts. But ultimately, they obviously don't trust him. They don't trust the project's going in the right direction and said, let's pull the trigger now. So get Ranieri back in. Love a bit of Claudio.
Well, do you know, I mean, it's a bit, it's bizarre. I mean, I sort of admire the fact that if they think it's not looking right while we're in an okay position with the window coming up in January, let's make a move. I sort of admire that. The thing that sort of confuses me a little bit, and I'm gonna jump slightly ahead of where I wanted to be, because unfortunately I need to faithfully depart in about 5 minutes. But what I did want to jump on, well, we'll save this one. I'll bring this, and this is for you, Rebecca. After, unfortunately, I might not be here. He's sicking at the dice. She's still in the job at Everton. I don't know what this means. Neil Sati's optimum has never meant so little, even less have higher standards. And apparently, Ranieri took the Roma job. But,
he did. That's what I mean. Sad.
Druity was quite surprised he was sacked. But Grimmy's saying here, and I've checked this out in the running, is Rude Boy Van Nistelrooy or Potter. Now, I'm going to upset you a little bit, Sam. I think Rude Boy would be a dreadful move for Leicester, because for me, he's managed a couple of games for Man United and hasn't managed anywhere else. And would you want to take a chance if you were Leicester City in the situation that they're in?
How can you turn down that polo neck? Did you not see how good on the sidelines he looked? That's
sexy man.
Sexy man. He managed PSV, didn't he? You know, he did have a period at PSV. Yeah, it was at PSV.
How long was he there for? I thought he was a coach. I thought he was a coach, to be honest with you, at PSV.
No, 50 odd games. He won the cup there. So he's done it. He's done a season. And I think the iron's hot if you're Rude. And to be honest, wherever Rude goes, I'm going to love them as a second club, because he's so rude. I saw the links. I think Van Nistelrooy, Potter, the two others, I can't remember the name. I think they were, and they're all decent. Like there's Moyes is another decent shout. Moyes would be an excellent get, I think, for them if they could do that. So there's some good managers about. I think you could get, and if nothing else, the look of Ruud van Nistelrooy on the side of your pitch. I mean, no offense to Steve Cooper, but you're going from one level to another with Steve Cooper to the lovely Ruud van Nistelrooy on the sidelines. I think Ruud's going to get a job somewhere, no doubt about it, in the next few months, whether it be in England or in Europe. And I'm going to love them as long as they're not a team I already don't like. But hopefully they're a team that I like.
Well, it's Silk is telling us Carlos and Rude Boy the favourites. Sky saying Potter and Moyes are not in the run. I mean, Potter was in the running originally, and they decided not to go with him.
At some stage, Potter's got to take a job, hasn't he? How long has he been out from Chelsea now? 18 months?
probably had like a 17-year contract from Chelsea, though, didn't he? So he's just still being paid off on that bad boy. He's,
bit of punditry.
he's probably thinking, the minute that I accept the new job, that's it then. My easy ride's over, and I'm going to have to actually do stuff. And I think Grimmy is saying, someone post some cold water on Sammy's getting all excited.
It'd be rude not to, Grimmy. Be rude not to.
Ooh. And Simon was saying Mark Robbins was rumoured to be in the running, and he hoped that he doesn't. Can you imagine from Coventry to Leicester? That would be, yeah, that would be interesting. It would go down really, really well. That would
really well. I think he needs a break there. Mark Robbins, to be fair, I think needs a bit of a break. He's been a contract a long time, so yeah,
he's done some fabulous work. Yeah, have a little chillax with himself. Now, unfortunately, people, you're going to be left, without me. Fortunately, though, you have Sam and Rebecca who are going to guide you through. Unfortunately, I am going to miss the Everton rant and you waxing lyrical about Liverpool. Now, let me just tell you, before I go, Southampton were lucky to get a penalty that was given for a foul outside the box. That one got me. And grinding results. So I'm going to say, doesn't matter. Grind them results out, and that's what you've got to do, baby. But I'm going to leave you in these two capable hands. I'm terribly sorry, people. So I'm going to hit leave studio. Hopefully, it won't end the whole thing. I tell you what, I'm just gonna mute and reduce. But thank you, everybody, and catch you later on ski.
Oh, bless. He's gone. He's off skis. He's off skis, Rebecca. Right. Liverpool, we don't like him, do we? Jesus, they're rubbish. He leaves midstream. What's he going to expect? We'll come to Liverpool in a minute because I don't want to talk about Liverpool yet. Let's just not. Do you want your Everton moment, Rebecca? Because I know we don't talk about 0-0s, but Rebecca hasn't been on for a while and is she's seething with a rant, and we have to let Rebecca let go of the rant. Go on, Rebecca. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So, as you said, we don't talk about 0-0s, but to be honest, there isn't really much to talk about that match. It's everything else that happens with Everton that is always the pain. The only positive to take away from the Brentford match is the fact we kept a clean sheet. There was nothing else. We couldn't score. We couldn't do anything. And to say that Brentford went down to 10 men in the first half and we couldn't capitalise on that at all in the second just shows the point that Everton are at. We had chances. I think Calvert-Lewin hit more fans in the Gladys Street than the goal. So that sums it up, I think. But the fans aren't happy, and it's clear the atmosphere has dipped at Goodison, and that isn't like Everton. You go to Goodison and you expect it to be, for away fans, hell, because it's such a fortress for us, and the way that we make it feel gets the players going and everything like that. But it's become dull at the moment for Everton, the way we're playing, the way everything is happening, and it isn't fun to watch. There's matches we should be winning that we're drawing, we're getting beat, and it's just like, I know we haven't been on the best form, but this isn't the Everton that we've had. We went on quite a positive run and it's just gone straight back down. I feel as though the delay and however long this takeover is taking is now affecting the team. Because I think Mashiri's just sat there like, right, well, it's not my team anymore, so we're going to backdash. We're going to, the board are backing him because I don't think they want to be there anymore. They've got the thing signed. Everything is set to be taken over. So it's a bit like they're just like, right, as soon as this is, like, they've got it sorted, they're gone. And I feel as though that is now starting to affect Everton because in my opinion, like, we've got no idea what is going on. It's coming up to one of the most important parts of the season, like your Christmas period in January are the ones that can either make or break you. And these are where you start to see where teams are pushing for within the league. And if we're still going to be down near the bottom at this point, this is straight back into a relegation battle for, is it like the fourth time? And it can't keep happening because one of these seasons it will see us ending up going down, and no one, as in like Everton fan, will ever want that to happen. And I feel as though with what's happening and everything behind the scenes, it is affecting this. For Leicester, who were only 1 point behind us, to already sack their manager, like we've already mentioned, it's now the question that's being asked is what is going to happen with Dyche. I know we've already had a comment before saying that there are quite a few fans that want him out now because it's just we're at that point where we've stalled and nothing else is happening. It's like you look at last season, we went for, I think it was 3 months without a win. But because we won the Merseyside derby, it kind of shone everything. We were safe and at that point. So it is one of them where it is a really difficult situation to be in. As soon as the new owners come in, I feel as though we've seen how ruthless they can be with managers when it comes to Roma. They last like a few weeks, and if they're not getting the team to perform, they're gone. So I feel as though things like changes will happen as soon as they're in, but it's just depending on when they can get in and when everything gets approved. And then I think we'll get Everton back. But that's the rant.
That's the rant. That's the rant. There's frustrations afoot at Everton. We have a few people in the chat as well who want their say on Everton. So Silk says, at home against a team with 10 men, can't win away, and they still don't score. It took Dyche until 70 plus minutes to make a sub and attempt to score a goal. Brentford had the best chances. Simon says, Everton can't afford to start life in their new stadium as a championship club, surely. It's been a funny, because when you look at it, you haven't lost since match day. You've had one loss since match day 4, haven't you, with Saints? But there's 3-0 in there. There's not a lot of goals. They're scoring at less than a goal a game, which is not great and exciting, as well as worrying looking over your shoulder, isn't it? It is. I mean, as you said with the owners, do you think they will just stick with Dyche no matter what, or do you think there is something that will make them have to do something before the new owners come in?
I think we're just going to have to wait for the new owners. I think Mashiri and the board have openly said on Sky Sports today that they back Dyche. And again, I think it is a money aspect as well as anything. Like, they'll see, yeah, we're getting draws, so we are still picking up points. But this isn't where Everton should be. Like, is it 16th? There's a point between, like, there's not many points between the bottom and us. And it's still scary. Like, it's a close battle again that we can't be sucked into. We've got issues with injuries and everything like that, which is to be considered. Like, what Dyche is working with is limited. But I do feel as though it's just going to be as soon as the new owners come in, whether they do get rid of Dyche, which I think some fans will be happy with, or whether it's money that they give him to rebuild in January and then we see how it goes. But it could be a very scary Christmas period for us, and especially with the upcoming matches, these are going to be make or break ones for us. I mean, like City, Arsenal, Liverpool are some of the 3. So it's like the last Merseyside derby at Goodison. It, like, depending on what happens there, that could turn the fans more.
It's a very rough run you've got coming up. So you're away at United next, which is going to be their first home game under Amorim. So you know who knows what you could be facing there. You've got Wolves at home, and we just said Wolves are starting to pick up a bit form. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, Nottingham Forest. Take the halfway. It's not a nice run of fixtures when you're not scoring goals. But sometimes Everton can raise the game for the bigger matches. But Silk's question, is set up like a counter-attacking side. You haven't scored a single counter-attack goal this season. So what are they trying to do? And I think Graham, as you already sort of answered, it depends on the owners, doesn't it? Whether they're going to spend in January, what the position are. So yeah, not a great result considering Brentford were down to 10 men. I think otherwise, maybe you'd look at that. And the thing for me as well is Brentford have been so exciting, and then you drag them down to your level to be like, no goals this afternoon. Come and join us. Just a lovely 0-0 draw. There we go. We've got some other in the chat as well. Yes, we can confirm. Josh has gone. Graham says he wins an award and then leaves the next stream mid-show. Proper mic drop moment. Yeah, there he is. We can confirm he's not there. Hello, darkness, my old friend. He's not there, just to prove to everybody. He says, and then there were 2. There is 2. And Grimmy says, we're in trouble. Rebecca is in charge. Rebecca is always in charge. So we're in good hands.
we've got half an hour on Dundee coming up.
The Dundee special. We're not talking about Liverpool or United or any of that nonsense. We're going to go Dundee. We do, unfortunately, have to. Yeah, we'll talk Liverpool quickly because I know you didn't see too much of the game. I'll give a couple of comments because I did see it. I think we have to give commentary to the. I think what we said about the sublime and the ridiculous. Where Southampton again just ridiculous the way they're gifting goals away. I mean, got themselves in good positions, and just all three of the goals were just ridiculous. One from defenders, one from the goalkeeper originally, but they just won't pass out at the right times. Even Russell Martin said, maybe I need to explain to the players when we do it and when we don't do it. I'd have been like, yeah, that might have been one of the early things to talk to them about with this new style. With Liverpool pressing, there's times not to do it. And they did it, and they got absolutely punished. And Liverpool, they got over the line. They grinded it out, but I do rather think they were gifted it a little bit as well. Southampton were poor. That penalty decision, the time I saw it, the view that they gave, the problem for me was, I didn't have a problem with it, but it was the referee gave the on-field decision, and there wasn't enough in that image that they showed to be able to turn it the other way. And I'd have felt exactly the same had he not given it. It was one of those, like it was right on the borderline. I've seen a different image today. I'm not entirely sure whether that's accurate or not, which does seem to indicate maybe it was slightly out. But at the time, the image that was shown, it is what it is. Salah decided to take his shirt off. And I can confirm it was very cold on the South Coast this weekend. So, he's rightfully booked for his own health, of a chilly weekend. And as Graham says, it was borderline on the line. So you have to back the original decision. McCarthy was Liverpool's best player yesterday. Sadly, he's the Southampton keeper. Yeah, not looking good. They can't help themselves. Elsewhere, what have we got to cover before we get into European football? Oh yes, Ruben Amorim, Rebecca. Ruben's Reds are amongst us, and it was great for 80 seconds, and then I was really bored. That was my analysis of the game. To be fair, 2 training sessions, early days, patience. I'm not really going to go into any of the tactics, what really we saw. But the reality is that it's going to take some time, I think, is what we discovered. And that there was just no urgency again. No, he was even at the touchline screaming at them to go forward and kick it long at the end. And there's just tippy-tappy at the back. So it's going to take some time. Ipswich fully deserved the draw. Probably had the better chances, actually. I thought probably had the better chances in that game. And unfortunately, from a United perspective, didn't really create anything bar that original goal. So what did you think of Ipswich 1, Manchester United 1, Rebecca?
Yeah, it is interesting to see United now. It's going to be interesting as well to see how everything pans out. I mean, fair play to Ipswich, a point against United. You usually have the new manager bounce, which didn't have the effect you wanted, but I mean, fair play to Ipswich. They are a bit of like a dark horse against certain teams, like where they can pick up points, and they do have very, very good chances. So fair play to them. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how United get on. But it did look like a good setup, and Rashford on the score sheet. I mean, I think like he needed that, and then get a few more under his belt, and he'll keep going for you. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see the change in everything at United now.
It will be very interesting. Driti's also happy Rashford got on the score sheet, but it just didn't do a lot else for me. Didn't do a lot else for me in that game. that was the main issue. It's going to take some time. Amorim saying himself, look, this isn't going to be good for a while. Like he said, the one thing you'll see is an identity. The one thing you see is a different style and the way that we're going to play. And he's got this period to suss out whether the players he's got can do it or they can't do it. And I think some of the stuff, even with the wing backs, we're going to see more defensive players playing wing backs, and then maybe he'll go, okay, Garnacho is ready to try this, a bit like Ahmad did. And it's a very different system to try and get used to and to work with, and to do that mid-season anyway, tough. To do that going into December when you've got game, and also international break, we've had not half your players, so you can't even really judge the lineup because he's just kind of going with what he has. So they've got Europe on Thursday, and then next weekend. It's Everton, of course. We're up against each other next weekend, so we'll see what happens. Graham says outrageous. Positive he didn't lose to relegation. Well, Graham, I'll have you know we gained a position this weekend up into the mighty 12th. We're sandwiched in between Brentford and Bournemouth. And Graham, there are worse places to be, I can tell you. Lovely place to be at the moment. Lovely place to be. Let's have a look.
Also, sorry, with United, it's like the team is inherited now. So he can't really put his own twist on it yet until January, if they are to spend. So it'll be how he works with what he's inherited from however many managers it's been, to then be able to try and put his twist on it later on as well. I think that'll be something that will be a talking point.
Yeah, this is it. It's his team for. Well, it's not going to be his team until you kind of get to the summer, because what they do in January will probably be restricted. I don't know what money they've got, what plans they've got. They've spent money getting Ten Hag and the coaching staff out and getting Amorim in. So that's questions. That's questions what's going to happen there. And we'll see. He's got to work these players out, and I want to see whether he can improve what we have. But the players will be under pressure because the fans won't turn anything on the manager, I don't think, unless things get really, really bad this season. But I think it'll be a case of saying to the players, like, what's going on here? This is now your opportunity. You're not taking it, and we need practically all of them to step up. Let's be honest. There's only one or two this season I think that can kind of hold their heads high. Anana's one of them. Jesus, Andre Anana, I've been really impressed with this season. He's gone under the radar, but the rest of them need a bit more. Simon wants us to stay away from Gyökeres. To be honest, I'm not interested in all the chat about who we're buying and all of that yet. He's got what he's got. Yeah. Let's see how that works. The striking option, yes. Would it work? We know Gyökeres works perfectly in an Amorim system because we've seen it at Sporting Lisbon. So I can see why the links are there, but can't do anything about it at the minute. And I very much doubt that they have the money / Sporting will sell him in January. So until the summer, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We have what we have. And Driti also mentions, yes, Ed Sheeran walking into Ruben Amorim's interview. How very dare you, Ed? How very dare you? Not very nice at all. Not very nice at all. But let's go to the table, shall we? Let's have a little look here at what we've got, what happened this match day. So obviously we touched on Chelsea beat Leicester in the other game. We haven't spoken about Arsenal. Arsenal won 3-0 at Nottingham Forest. Martin Odegaard pulling the strings again with how well Forest have been. Missing a couple of players this match, but really good from them. Yeah. Aston Villa 2, Crystal Palace 2. A Palace, a team with Everton down there that you worry Rebecca could get a bit of a bounce and come back, or are they ones you're looking at thinking we need to put some distance between us?
We do need to be getting distance between us. I mean, isn't it like Palace get one win and they're on the same points as us? It's how close it is. It's like Southampton, apologies to any Southampton fans, but I think the eye could go next to them. I don't think that's going to change, but it is going to be Palace, Ipswich, Wolves, Leicester and us. If we're to carry on the way we are, it's going to be between us as to who gets the last two spots, which is the exact same as last season, and I don't think my health can take it anymore.
It's another season of stress and drama coming up for Rebecca, because also, as we have currently, as Spenny fan Chris points to in the chat, West Ham are 2-0 up on Newcastle at the minute, so they will create a bit of a gap as well. They'll jump onto 15 points with Bournemouth, which will put them 4 points ahead of Everton, so there really is a bit of a gap starting to develop to that bottom six. Elsewhere, I think we touched on all those other games, didn't we? We've managed to do it all. That's pretty impressive, if I do say so myself. We've covered the whole of the Premier League. So, of course, with Liverpool top of the league. To be honest, next time I'm going to cut Liverpool off the top like PSG. It's getting boring. Look how competitive that would be without them. So I think it's only fair. And obviously, we've had a lot of Mo Salah contract talk today. There's been lots of stress. Mo Salah's not happy. He hasn't been offered something. Jamie Carragher's had a go at Mo Salah, because he's calling out the club and all the rest of it. Top of the league. Chill out. Take a moment. Chill out. Just rest. Just rest. As Josh is underneath his desk at the minute. Just rest and chill out. But outside of the Premier League, should we go around Europe, Rebecca? Let's see what's happened, because I've absolutely no idea what's happened. I did the graphics, but I can't say I was actually making too much attention while I was doing them. Just pretty much just chucking them in. So we've got La Liga. La Liga is here. Barcelona 2-2. Lots of goals in La Liga this weekend. Barcelona dropped points with a 2-2 at Celta Vigo, and Real Madrid went and won 3-0 against Leganés. So a good win for them. Atletico Madrid beat Deportivo Alaves 2-1. So that's the top three. And Villarreal in fourth. They had a 2-2 at Desmondo, as they call it in Spain. The official Desmondo against Osasuna. At the bottom, we still have, is that Real Valladolid? Yes, it is. Leganés and Valencia. Valencia's still down there, but they did. I think Valencia won this week, and they did 4-2. 4-2 for Valencia. They did, yeah, 4-2. So that is La Liga. Graham does say, yes, it was an emotional moment for Valencia playing for the first time since those awful floods. Yes, it was for Valencia. It's been very sad what's been happening over there. And Heather says, did anyone see Roy Keane offering out an Ipswich fan? Yes, it got a bit heated at the end of the game. Roy Keane took exception to something that was said to him and was not amused. He was not amused. Serie A. It is Italy. What's the score? Let us know, chat. What is going on with Lecce? Importantly, in that absolute classic at the bottom, basement bat, as Lecce try to hang on to their status. Sharp will be needing to know that result, that is for sure. But elsewhere, Napoli is still top of the league. They beat Roma, confirmed obviously with Ranieri's Roma now. 1-0, they beat them. So that puts Napoli continued top of the table behind Atalanta with a nice 3-1 win against Parma. Inter Milan with a 5-0 victory over Verona. If you want to look at all those wins, they love a good win, don't they, at the top of Serie A? I mean, it's very rare you get that. Look at that. It's very, very beautiful. Lazio and Fiorentina have been on a bit of a run. Lazio beating Bologna and Fiorentina beating Como. So that is where they sit. Roma down in 12th. Jesus, what's happened there? That's bad. That's bad for Roma.
Because of how many managers are going through.
Yeah, it's got a bit
silly. Manager after every loss, haven't they? Never know.
That's the answer. You get one game. The minute you lose, you're gone. That's high expectations.
We're getting them honest.
It says Utility FC. They're holding on. They're 1-0 up. Lecce are 1-0 up in the 93rd minute. Come on, Lecce. We believe in you. We trust in you. And Spenny fan Chris also says Empoli were 1-1 in the end, as Graham says. They're the Italian Watford. On Udinese, the Italian Watford, technically. I don't know what they're like with their managers, but Watford have had theirs for a little while now. Tom Cleverley's sitting pretty. Don't know what's going on with Watford. But that is Serie A. It's over. Lecce with a win. Does that take them out? I think it does. They're out of the relegation zone. Stop the count. Lecce are safe. It's over. Well done to Lecce. We're very, very, very proud of you. The Bundesliga. More goals in the Bundesliga. Harry Kane scoring goals again for Bayern Munich. Who knew? I think he hit 50 goals now, did I see? Is that right? Quicker than Haaland did it? He's not bad, is he? He's not bad, that Harry Kane. Not bad at scoring goals. And Bayern Munich have reacted the way that we all expected to react to losing the title last season by running away with it going into the season. I think it's fair to be said. Their closest challengers are Frankfurt. Frankfurt beat Werder Bremen 1-0 at the weekend. Leipzig lost 4-3 in a classic with Hoffenheim. And Leverkusen picked up their first win in 4 as they defeated Heidenheim 5-2. Great win for Leverkusen. And at the bottom, you've got Bochum at the bottom still Bochum at the bottom. 2-0 defeat to Stuttgart. Now we move on to the Eredivisie. The error of our ways. It's the Eredivisie. PSV 5-0 against Groningen. 45 goals in 13 games. It's like watching Everton, Rebecca. Look at that. That is insane. That is crazy. That's over 3 goals a game scored by PSV. Just the plus 36 goal difference for PSV.
Can we have their strikers, please? They can have Calvert-Lewin. We'll happily take PSV's goal scorer rate.
I think is it still Luke de Jong? It might still be Luke de Jong up there. Take any of them. They know how to score a goal or two. That is for sure. In second is Utrecht. Utrecht beat NEC. They beat them 2-1 at the weekend. So they were in second. Ajax 2-0 against PSV Zwolle. And fourth is Feyenoord, who I believe play Manchester City. They have the opportunity to make it 6 defeats in a row for Manchester City as they beat Heerenveen at the weekend. Graham's having a shot in the chat. PSV have more goals now than Everton will likely get all season.
I agree. As long as, I don't mind, as long as we just get like 1-0 wins for the rest of the season. Like, I'm happy with just scoring 1 goal every match and we sail up the table. We're nice and safe, happy, loving life. I don't mind as long as we're winning. But our under-21s have just played, in which Brozier has made his Everton debut. For 45 minutes.
Forgot you have him, yeah.
So he's done 45 minutes, which is great. We're getting him. But Nathan Patterson has been sent off. Just to add to it, a second yellow. So I don't know how that affects the Prem, whether he can play in that or not. It confuses me. But yeah, we got beat 1-0 off Watford.
Oh, no goals for the reserves either. Yeah. Oh dear. But this is it. Just 1-0 victory, 16th at the end of the season with new owners and a new stadium. Positive times ahead. And Ruud van Nistelrooy in charge. Imagine that. Wouldn't that be lovely? Wouldn't that be lovely for you? He knows the PSV players, so you know. There's the link. There's the link. I can see it. Yeah. Elsewhere in the Eredivisie, what happened elsewhere? We've got Heracles 2, Warwick 2-2. They had a Warwick Desmond. Lovely. That sounds like a wonderful ice cream. A Warwick Desmond, please, or cocktail. I'll have one of your Warwick Desmond's blue barkeep. Fortuna Sittard, as Josh calls them, they were defeated 2-1 by FC Twente, who are in 5th place, ahead of AZ Alkmaar and Go Ahead Eagles. Ligue 1 is here. We haven't taken PSV off the top. They're still there, unfortunately, on this graphic. They won again. It was to lose. It was too much to lose with a 3-0 victory against PSG. AS Monaco are second. They've got 26 points, having beaten Brest 3-2 over Brest, who are 12th, down in 12th. Champions League, aren't they, Brest, but not having a great season here. They're struggling a little bit this year. Marseille won 3-1 at Lens. And then Lille 1-0 against Rennes. And we've got Nice. It's nice to be Nice. 2-1 against Strasbourg. And the bottom is Montpellier. And now we turn over to Rebecca's prime moments. Rebecca goes up north to tell us what's going on in Scotland.
Well, as we can see, Dundee have been on an up and down run of form, but it was a huge win for them on Saturday. They bounced back from a 4-1 defeat to Aberdeen to beat Hibs 4-1. So it's like they've just... I'm lost for words at this point. They've just gone and done the exact same, but the opposite way. Hibs do take an early lead through Nicky Cadden. It was an annoying one to concede from a Dundee perspective. It could have been defended, but Ryan Astley wasn't on the pitch at this point, so that's where all Dundee's problems came from. There was a change quite early on for Dundee, which did see Ryan Astley come on in the 10th minute for Clark Robertson. He had an incredible match. It was, I think, one of the best ones for Ryan so far this season. He got stuck in, he did what he had to do, and from him coming on, Dundee didn't concede, which was really good. He did get a bit of a whack from one of the strikers, so he's got a cracking bruise on his face now, but it was a very good performance from the defence for Dundee. Hibs did have Jordan Abita sent off for a challenge on Morsilla, and Dundee did capitalise on this. They added their first through a good cross from Robertson, who found McGee. Lyle Cameron did hit the crossbar shortly after. Lyle Cameron is an incredible player for Dundee. He has stepped up massively since the departure of Luke McCowan to Celtic. So it has been really good to see him come out more and do what he has to do. They did add a second, which took a deflection off a Hibs player, and it has been given as an own goal, but I think he'd happily give that back to the Dundee player. It was a very promising first half. Hibs, it just wasn't their day. Soon as the player got sent off, it just went downhill for them. But Seb Palmer Holden, it was a back pass keeper, I don't know if he tried to pass it or if he tried to set himself up for a goal kick. Went a bit too far. Said Palm Holden came running in. It went in back at net. Hibs did have chances, but again, the defence stood strong, and Dundee added a fourth in the 92nd minute to round it all off. So it was a very, very good day for Dundee.
Very good day indeed for Dundee. Not a lot of love for Celtic in the chat. It's fair to be said. They want Celtic cut off of this, and it's looking that way, unfortunately, because Aberdeen lost this weekend. They lost to St Mirren, which has opened up a 3-point gap. Spenny fan Chris not happy with them. Some not Scottish League, but some epic scores coming in from the National League South, from obviously lower league on Thursday. We'll give you a bit of that. Aveley 6, St Albans 3. That's a 9-goal thriller. And ML Enstead 1, Dorking Wanderers 7. Our favourites, Mark White's Dorking Wanderers, who we did see at the Football Content Awards, actually. If you do check the stuff, there is a photo shot, and Sean Clare managed to meet Mark White. It was very exciting. They've put 7 past ML Enstead in a 7-1 win. Fantastic indeed. Elsewhere, we had Ross County beating Motherwell. Rangers 1-1 with Dundee United. They're struggling, aren't they? And Hearts, it's all gone to nonsense for Hearts. I mean, they're just, they're breaking Shankland's heart. Big Shanks, it's just not happening, is it? The big Shanks, it's not the season for the big Shanks, which is very, very, very sad.
Dundee United are a shock this season. Got promoted last season, and they are proving why they should be in the Scottish Prem, and they are a very interesting team to watch at the moment.
Dundee United, there you go. Heard it here first. Rebecca and her knowledge of all the Dundees in the world. She knows all.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a Dundee fan. It's just Dundee United. They are there and thereabouts, so it's like it does get confusing at times.
They cannot be ignored. They cannot be ignored. What cannot be ignored is obviously we've had come to the end of our lovely show tonight. It's very exciting to have everybody back, particularly after the back of the FCAs. We're all still living a crazy, crazy world of post-FCA life, which is mad as we all sort of settle in. But it's been lovely to have Rebecca back on the podcast, the queen of the pointing. Rebecca, where can everybody find you?
You can find me here, _Rebecca_Shout_, and that is on Twitter and TikTok. You can find my Her Game 2 content at ASFC Her Game 2. If you want to join in the fun world of Formula One, then you can join me and Jen, who is on our Lower League podcast, at Girls in the Grandstand, where we do cover a bit of everything from Formula 1, 2 and 3.
There you go. Do check Rebecca out and all her wonderful stuff. And if you want to check me out, I am at SamAbsoluteFBL on Twitter and Blue Sky as well. We've got a bit of Blue Sky going on. I'll be trying to do some cheeky tickety-tockies maybe this week and then some other content. But there's so much still going on with the pod that we need to get out then. Oh, Spenny fan Chris was crying when he saw you guys on the awards. Thank you so much. Lovely to know that it touched you so much. And there's Jen with 4 hearts. A lovely amount of hearts from Jen. We love you too. Thank you for joining us. And of course, where else can you catch? Look at that. The best new content creator at the Football Content Awards. It is, of course, the Absolute Football Podcast. And we don't just come at you on a Monday. We come at you at a Wednesday. We come at you at a Thursday. We've got 3 shows a week with our magnificent team, which you can see in the graphics there. Aren't they all lovely and wonderful? It's very, very exciting. You can catch us, as we said, 8:30 on Monday. Our Premier League show is on a Monday. On a Wednesday at 8:30, absolutely women's football with Freya and #Team Chaos, as they like to call themselves, because all sorts of chaos on a Wednesday, talking everything Super League, Women's Championship, Women's Champions League, internationals, whatever floats their boat. And also absolutely lower league, 8:30 on the Thursday. Of course, it is Shah and the Rowdy Rabble. They will be back with you on Thursday, talking exciting. But where can you find us? You can find us on Twitter at Absolute Ballpod. At YouTube, the old YouTube. It's been a long few days. Yeah, it's been a long few days, I can tell you. My voice is going as well. Yeah, on the YouTube, we are the Absolute Football Podcast, as we are on Twitch. Catch us on TikTok, Absolute Football Pod, and Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast. _. Blue Sky Absolute Football, and on Facebook with the Absolute Football Podcast. And I think YouTube should be a thing now. Like we've got Blue Sky to Twitter. You watch us. We'll be on YouTube very, very, very soon. But it's just enough to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for being with us chatting about football. Thank you again for all your lovely support, getting us to the Football Content Awards and ultimately picking that up. You're very, very special to all of us. And we will be catching you very soon. So the next show is on a Wednesday. And just to say to you, if you think you're not good enough, you are. Push those shoulders back, walk straight down. You are the man/woman, whoever you are. You're fantastic. And we will catch you on the next one. Ciao for now on the YouTube.